chilly outside. Yesterday when we walked the dogs about 2 o'clock, it was 60 degrees. Now it's 29. Now our thing says it's sunny. It's not. We're supposed to have snow today, but we don't. So we'll see what happens.
Morning, it's Barbara. It was a little bit of a weekend for me and my family. So, anyway, good morning. Thank you for joining me for coffee. I guess I'll start off with the bad news. The bad news is that my mother has COVID. Found out on New Year's morning after I did my vlog that she wasn't feeling well and spent the day doing phone calls and trying to get action because my dad wasn't feeling like he wasn't getting any information. And I think somebody had mentioned an antibiotic because she had a sore throat in addition to a slight fever, cough, and she hadn't eaten the day before. The problem started when she slipped or fell getting out of bed in the middle of the night, and so they were watching her, and they thought she might have thrush, but I don't know why they would need an antibiotic for that, because I don't think an antibiotic is used for thrush. But anyway, it turns out, we found out yesterday morning that she has COVID. And she was okay from the fall, but she wasn't eating and she wasn't drinking enough. And so she is now in the hospital on IV, getting hydrated, and her oxygen was low, so they've been giving her oxygen. So she's doing quite well, I guess. She called my dad last night, and he said she sounded very perky, and he was very pleased with how she sounded. I spoke to him this morning. He hasn't heard anything, and he was going to call her this morning. But he slept well, and so he sounded perky. He hadn't been sleeping well because he was worried about my mother trying to get out of bed when she wasn't really able to. So anyway, so she's being looked after. She's apparently doing really well. They were talking about giving her some kind of antiviral treatment, although I'm not sure what that was. I haven't talked to the doctor. My brother is the one who's talking to the doctor. So anyway, that messed up my whole weekend, and I'm 3 hours away and couldn't even go see her, and can't see my dad because he's now in isolation because he lives with my mother, although he hasn't tested positive. So there you are, you're all updated. I don't think I do very well in a crisis. Although I did very well on the phone, doing the phone calls. So maybe I need action, I don't know. But I certainly wasn't in the mood to do a podcast, and I wasn't ready to talk to you guys about it because I hadn't talked to my sister. So anyway, that's what's been going on with me this weekend. So apparently the brand new pure white underwear does not have a very long range. And I didn't give my mother any brand new pure white underwear, or my dad. I'm a terrible daughter. But supposedly she's the only one that has it in their personal care home, which I find impossible to believe because I'm quite sure that they haven't had any company except Christy and me 10 days ago. And my brother, none of the three of us have COVID. So they didn't get it from their guests. So somebody in that care home has COVID. And I don't remember if I told you or not, but I was a little disappointed that, I was happy for Christy that we could go visit my parents because she doesn't have very many opportunities, but I was disappointed in the place for still allowing visitors when Omicron was rampant. And now, who knows? Surely with Omicron in the building, they will change something. But either way, it won't affect my parents because Daddy's in quarantine. They were both in quarantine until my mother went to the hospital. So anyway, that's why hasn't been a podcast, and yeah, it was very upsetting. And I don't, I guess just sitting here not knowing what was going on and worrying. I'm not very good at that. It did occur to me to go upstairs and clean my bedroom yesterday. I thought maybe, activity would help me. And it probably would have. And my bedroom would be cleaned out. But I didn't do it. So my bedroom's not clean. But I did knit, which means, I did notes for my podcast. I think I did them like Saturday evening, and so I have notes for my podcast, which I'm going to have to change because my Musselboro hat is now an FO. And those of you who are vlog watchers will get a preview of my last FO. So I have a ton of FOs. I have 4 pairs of socks, the cowl, my slippers, and now my Musselboro hat. So as you recall, when we last saw our heroine, she was knitting on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful yarn that Megan had dyed and sent. Isn't that gorgeous? And she and I both agree this would be a beautiful sweater. She's a little unhappy with herself because she doesn't think she can reproduce this color. She was so sweet to offer to send me, she thought she had another skein she could send me to finish my hat, but I said, no, I have a plan. And the plan was, I went up and I found some DK weight yarn. And what it is 60% silk, 40% fine merino. It's Skano yarn that I got from Yarn Box 100 years ago. And the color is Splendid Norma. And unfortunately, I literally had less than a foot of this yarn left when I was finished with the hat. And I only had this much of the beautiful Megan yarn left. So I can't show you it in the skein to give you an idea of how gorgeous it is, but it's 60% silk, so it's a little bit shiny. So my plan was to make one side, because this is a reversible hat, to make one side all this beautiful color. So when I wear the hat like this, that's what you get. So what do you think? I'm going to see when I edit how that looks. I'm not a big slouchy fan, but that's not very slouchy, and I think it's kind of cute. Right? Pretty cute. And so that's option number 1. So what I did was I made sure that I got this far all in the one color, because I did want the hat to have all in the one color. And then I striped it with the Splendid Norma. I did 2 rows once I started putting it in, which was right here. So I have a little bit of the plain here. Then it's just 2 rows, alternating 2 rows between the 2 colors, all the way up to the very top. And there you go. So that's what I decided to do. And the Splendid Norma has some of the same pumpkin-y fall colors in it, but then it goes into the purple and the blue. And you can't really see in this light, but that purple and blue have a sheen to them because of course they're silk. So that means then you have a striped hat that you can wear with a slouch. But it also means if you want to have your ears super warm, because I think this is going to be like the warmest hat I've ever made. So you have a wonderful brim of the color from Megan and a stripy top. Or, I don't know if I'll go through all this on the podcast. Or if you have your wonderful Megan color, but you need it really warm around your ears, then you have a little bit of a stripe on your brim. So there you go. I finished my Musselburgh hat. Thank you so much, Megan, for the gorgeous yarn. Thank you, Valerie, for the pattern, because you guys were right, Carol and others, for the suggestion. Oh, and thank you, Carol. The bag worked great to do a Musselburgh hat. And I can see why people have made more than one of these hats, because it's a little bit like a tiny little boxy, in that, you know, once you get going, and the getting going on the crown is simple. You just knit. You just knit. And sometimes, and certainly for me, I have plenty of times when feeling like just knitting. You just want to knit. I don't want to think. You just want to knit. And this hat is certainly good for that. I am very tempted. I'm very tempted to cast on another one and fingering weight. Just because this one is going to be ultra warm. And in fact, if I can do my podcast before, I could wear it today if I wanted to, even if I haven't shown it in the podcast, right? So there you go. There's my Musselburgh hat. I haven't had my slippers for 3 days because I washed them for the podcast, and then I didn't podcast. Put these back. First rule of podcasting, try to keep the labels. There you go. That's all the news. So Daddy sounded really good this morning, so that was nice. That was good. I'm glad. He's feeling chipper. He got a good night's sleep, and he's feeling good about Mama. He said he'd call me if there was any news, i.e. change, from her just feeling perky and wondering, why aren't you visiting me? Unfortunately, he's not allowed. So there you go. So today is Monday. It is supposed to snow today, but it has not started yet. I think I said that when I was showing you the temperature. I haven't been showing you the temperature. And it was warm yesterday and cold. It's going to be cold today. So once I get going on my temperature bookshelf, things will be interesting at the beginning of the year. I did not Zoom with Christy last night. I wasn't feeling zoomy, and I think she was pretty happy to not Zoom. She has a couple more weeks till her semester starts. They postponed it. I guess it's trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do about COVID. I know that some people, powerful people in the school, are concerned about COVID, so that's good. But we'll see. But that gives her more time to prepare. But they're not saying, and we're going to start classes online, so spend this 2 weeks getting your classes ready. So I don't know. Whatever. She'll tell us all about it. Heck, half of what I know I got from her floss tube. So there, you got it already too. You already knew that. Anyway, so I'm feeling much better today. And so I see a podcast in our near future, and I am taking Aura for her cardiotherapy, whatever it is, tomorrow. So if it's gonna snow, it better start doing it so we have time to clear the roads and everything so she and I can go, because we have to go relatively early tomorrow. So I don't know what that means for the vlog tomorrow. It'd probably be quick and short. Because I want to do one so you don't worry. I don't want you to worry. But I'm going to have to leave the house about 9 o'clock. I think. So that's early for me. I know it's not early for a lot of people. So anyway, there you are. You're up to date. I'm feeling much better about how things are going, and Daddy sounded cheerful, and they're taking care of Mama, so that's all good news. So please take good care of yourselves. Please, please stay safe and stay sane.